I'll bring my journal. Take excellent notes. Tell me. Good-looking guy like you, got a beautiful family, every reason for doing well, threw it all away. Tell me how you messed up. I'll take the notes. So here's the clue. Learn from negative as well as positive. Learn from failure as well as success. That's why the Bible is such a good book. I'm an amateur, but I'm telling you, it's a good book. Why? It's got a list of stories on both sides of the ledger, human stories. One list of human stories in the Bible is called examples. Do what these people did. Look how it worked out. And the other list is what? Warnings. Warnings. Don't do what these clods did. It's disaster. What a good book with two sets of stories on the positive and the negative side. So learn from failure as well as success. In our leadership series we teach, find out what poor people read and don't read it. Gosh, this stuff's easy to learn. Find out how they talk and what? Don't talk that way. Find out the language they use and don't use it. Find out what they blame and get you a different list. I'm telling you. Learn from failure. Learn from tragedy. Okay, now here's the other side. Learn from success. People that have got something going of value that you could learn from. Whatever the value is. A mother who has magic with her children. Wouldn't you want to know? Of course. You say, Mary, would you meet me tomorrow morning for breakfast? Neat little cafe. You won't believe the service. I'll pick up the tab. She says, okay. She meets you tomorrow morning for breakfast. You say, Mary, I got to know, where did you get this magic with your children? She says, well, to be honest with you, up until 3 years ago, my kids were out of control. And then I read this book. I went to this class. And they gave me a little 1, 2, 3 program. And I've been using that now the last 3 years, and that's how come I got this magic with my children. Would that be a valuable breakfast? Would you pick up the tab? Of course. Here's what can save you so much heartache and put you on the road to wealth and power and success, and that is picking up the information from other people. Now, here's part of how you do it. Number one, observe, watch what's going on. Some people are doing it right, and what? Some people are messing it up. Just watch what's happening during the day. Watch what's going on. Here's a good phrase to keep in mind the rest of the 90s, getting ready for Century 21. Pay attention. Don't just stagger through the day. In leadership, we discuss, most people are just trying to get through the day. Here's what wise people learn to do. Get from the day. Learn some lessons before the day is over by just watching what's going on. Here's number 2, and that is to listen. You've got to become a good listener. Now, it is challenging, listening well. Here's why. So many voices want our attention. How do you sort through all the voices today? I'm telling you, it's a challenge. Radio voices and television voices and religious voices and advertising voices and commercial voices, family voices, community voices, political voices, voices of all kinds. How do you sort through all that and not waste your time on voices that don't count? I'm telling you, it's a challenge. But you got to do like tuning in your radio. Tune out the static and tune out the shallow and tune out the silly. Find a voice of value, stay for a while. Keep tuning, find a voice of value, stay for a while. That's the clue. On Sunday morning, we ask you to come and what? Stay for a while. Listen to a voice of value. We ask you to come to a seminar and what? Stay for a while. That's why we put some of this stuff on cassette tape, so you can stay for a while. When your hands are busy and your mind is free, turn your car into a mobile classroom and just stay for a while listening to someone that has something valuable to share. So, here's what we've got to teach our children in the 90s, parents. Here it is, the skill of selective listening. Don't spend most of your time on voices that don't count. Going to add too little worth to your future? Don't waste your time on the shallow and the silly. A lot of that going on in California. Shallow and the silly. I'm in Kansas City the other day. They hadn't heard about these affirmations and all that stuff going on here in California. I mean, California is part weird. Right? California. I told them in Kansas City, I said, some people in California are rubbing crystals to try to be successful. You wouldn't believe it. Some are what? Sleeping under pyramids. I mean, California is part weird. Affirmations. Multi-track subliminal, bombard your preconscious, subconscious, deprogram you, reprogram you. I mean, ocean waves and seagulls yet. I mean, weird stuff that hasn't gotten to Kansas City. I mean, California. Unbelievable. I said, some Californians are moving to Sedona, Arizona, where all these force fields are supposed to come together. And if you rub a crystal and sleep under a pyramid in Sedona, right, then change your life for the better. But hey, forget all that. When I talk to teenagers in my lectures, colleges, high schools, they're so happy to know they don't have to move to Sedona, right? Become rich and powerful and sophisticated and healthy and influential. So don't fool with that stuff. We don't have to teach our teenagers how to channel, find a 2,000-year-old guru. We don't have to do that. I'm telling you, it's too easy to get rich. Don't have to fool with the silly stuff. Right? Some of that's dangerous anyway. Kids are afraid of it, right? So don't fool with that. You'll be out on a limb with Shirley if you fool with too much of that stuff. Anyway. No, do whatever you want. It's up to you. You wanted my point of view, so you got it. But yeah, you don't have to walk on fire. I'm telling you, you don't. You don't have to do something spectacular. There's some simple, easy, basic reasons why people like I, at age 25, am broke. Not destitute, but broke. Pennies in my pocket, nothing in the bank, way behind on my big mouth promises, not doing well, wondering what went wrong. It's too easy to figure out what went wrong. And then it's too easy to change it, to fool with all the spooky nonsense that's going on today. So just pass on all that. Just some good, basic, fundamental, solid stuff that kids can understand, right? Kids don't need their own private psychic, to try to help them figure out the future. This stuff's too easy. Getting rich is too easy. I got rich by the time I was 31. Here's the best advice I give my teenage friends. It was easy. What can I tell you? It was hard? No, it was easy. I'm a millionaire by 31. Let me tell you how I did it. I got 3 reasons why I got rich by the time I was 31. Let me give you those. Here's number 1. I lived in America. I mean, how lucky can you get? America's easy. That's why everybody wants to come here. People haven't plotted and schemed for 50 years saying if I could just get to Poland, everything would be okay. No. The boat people are not desperately trying to get to Vietnam. No. They're not squeezing through the fence to try to get into Mexico. No. Neil Diamond says, looks like everybody's heading for. They're all coming to America. Why? Everybody wants to come here. By every means possible to get here. Why? Because America's easy. So if you go home with anything, go home with that. Mr. Rohn reminded us that America's easy. He got rich by the time he was 31. America's easy. Bangladesh is hard. Just take that home. Here's the average yearly income in Bangladesh, $120. That would be hard. Tell me hard versus easy. So America's easy. Cambodia would be hard. The Khmer Rouge killed 2 million Cambodians to make communism work. That's hard. America is easy. India would be hard. They got their challenges these days. Tough. America's easy. China would be really hard. Underline really and make a study. It's hard. America's easy. And now, in about 90 days, you can have that memorized. I'm telling you, that's all you need. I got rich by the time I was 31. I lived in America. America's easy. Now, here's number 2. I found an opportunity. That's all you got to do in America, search for an opportunity. Take the first one, right? Try it. If that isn't it, it leads to another. One door closes, another door opens. This is what's exciting about America. It's full of opportunity. A chance to try, and then what? Try again, and then what? Try again, never run out of opportunity to try. See if you can't better your life and your health and your future and your bank account and your income. Make your fortune here. I lived in America, number 1. Found an opportunity, number 3. Number 2, here's number 3. I found a teacher. What a grand and glorious, unique thing that was for me at that time in my life. I found a teacher willing to teach me. And his teaching came in 2 parts. Here's what it was. Very simple. Number 1, Mr. Rohn, you have evidently messed up between ages 19 and 25. Now, I could understand that. But he didn't leave me there. He said, now, here's the answers on how to change it all, the next 6 years. so that the next 6 years won't be like the last 6. What an incredible teacher. Taught me how to have a whole brand new 6 years. First 6, what? I messed up. Second 6, what? I got it right. Second 6 years, I became a millionaire. During that second 6 years, the government was about the same. I'm telling you. Interest rates were about what? The same. The pay scale was about what? The same. Lord knows my negative relatives were the same. Circumstances were about the same. The economy was about the same. The unions and their philosophy was about the same. What was going on around me was about the same. Then how come I got rich that second 6 years? I was not the same. I changed. You say, well, Mr. Rohn, if you can do that, can anybody do it? Yes, I invite you on that journey. Anytime you want to. You can stay the same so that the next 6 years will be like the last 6. Take a look at the last 6 years. You can stay the same so that the next 6 years will be like the last 6. Take a look at the last 6 years. And I'm telling you, the next 6 years of your life is going to be like the last 6. Unless you change. Or unless you want to count on this short list that we call not much list. Most everybody's counting on this not much list. What if all of your negative relatives turn positive? What would that do for your future and your fortune? What? Not much. Not much. What if prices came down a little? What will that do for your future? I'm telling you, not much. If the economy gets a little better, what will that do? Not much. Now that the Democrats are in power, what's that going to do for your future? Not much. We could get a good debate going here. If the Republicans would have stayed in power, what would that have done? Not much. Hey, we could get a good debate going here. I'm telling you, it's a not much list. If you don't make plans of your own, guess what? You'll probably always fit into someone else's plans. Guess what someone else may have planned for you? Then what's going to make the difference? You're going to have to make the difference. You're going to have to take charge. Now, Mr. Schoaf, my teacher, gave me a promise, and I want to give you that promise now on this November day, 1992, Anaheim, California. Here was the promise I got, and I bring it to you. Here's what my teacher said. If you will change, Mr. Rohn, he said, if you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change the government. You don't have to change prices. You don't have to change taxes. Forget all that. He said, if you will change, everything will change for you. And the first thing you start changing is what? Your philosophy. You start changing your mind. You start changing how you think. You start picking up new ideas and information. Gather new knowledge. Make better decisions about what's valuable. And I'm telling you, if you'll do that, your whole life will change. Your health will change. Your relationship with your family will change. Your ability to cope with challenges and problems will change. I'm telling you, income, promotions, all of it will change. If you will change, it'll all change. If you won't change, it isn't going to change. You can keep your fingers crossed if you want to and hope they'll straighten it out. You can wish for the wind not to blow quite as severe, but I'm telling you, wishing for the wind to change in your favor, we call naive at best. Don't do this any longer. Wish for a better wind. The key is to wish for the wisdom to set a better sail. Utilize whatever wind it blows to take you wherever you want to go. That is the philosophy I picked up at age 25, and it revolutionized my whole life. And here's what I found. I found it was easy. I got rich by the time I was 31, and it was easy. Now, here's my definition of easy. Got to jot this down. My definition of easy, meaning something I could do. I figure if it's something you can do, it's easy. Now, here's a parenthesis. Parenthesis. I worked hard at it. I found something I could do, which was easy, but I worked hard at it. I got up early and stayed up late, worked hard that 6 years. But what I did was easy, meaning it was something I could do. You say, well, Mr. Rohn, if it was so easy, how come everybody else around you during that 6 years, how come they didn't get rich? Here's why. It's easy not to. How else would you describe it? That's it. You say, no. For all of the rest of them, it was hard for them and it was easy for you. That's not true. You couldn't debate me on that in front of this intelligent audience. But here's the challenge. Let me give it to you in a philosophical phrase. I tend to be a little philosophical. Here it is. The things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. That's the difference between success and failure. So you've got the choice here today of one of two easies. Easy to or what? Easy not to. I can give you in one sentence how I got rich by the time I was 31. Here it is in one sentence. I did not neglect to do the easy things I could do every day for 6 years. Underline. I did not neglect. That's the key. I found something easy I could do that led to fortune, and I did not neglect to do it. Major reason for not having everything you want in America. Major reason for not having more of what you want in America. More health, more money, more power, more influence, more everything. Major reason why you don't get it. Simple answer. Neglect. Neglect. And here's the problem with neglect. It starts as an infection. And if you don't take care of it, it becomes a disease. And here's what else is the problem. One neglect leads to another. Neglect to do wise things with your money, you'll probably neglect to do wise things with your time. Neglect to do wise things with your time, you'll probably neglect to do wise things with your business. One leads to another, leads to another. Pretty soon, neglect has you by the throat, emptying your purse, emptying your heart, emptying all of your chances for equities and power and all the good things. Neglect. What if you should be walking around the block every day for your good health and you don't? I'm telling you, you're on the wrong track. You should do it, you could do it, you don't do it. That's called formula for disaster. All you've got to do is let that and a few other things accumulate for 6 years, and now you're driving what you don't want to drive, wearing what you don't want to wear, living where you don't want to live, doing what you don't want to do, maybe having become what you really didn't want to become. I'm telling you, that's it. Just neglect along, drift along, and it's got you by the throat. It'll take all your values, leave you with just a little bit of dust in a summer wind, and it'll soon be gone. I hope I said that well. That's it. It's where I found myself at age 25 until my teacher came along and said, Mr. Rohn, up till now you've messed up. Let's see if we can't clean that up, change it all. I did. Changed my life. Not just the money, all the rest of the values that came pouring in when I understood that it was me. It was me. So take the easy approach. This stuff's easy to figure out. Getting rich is easy. I teach it to teenagers. How to be rich by 40, 35 if you're extra bright. This stuff is not difficult. A lot of it's going to be in my new book for the kids. Kids should pay taxes. I love to teach kids enterprise. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living. Profits make you a fortune. We can teach kids profits. I teach kids enterprise, all kinds. I teach kids how to have two bicycles, one to ride and one to rent. I mean, it doesn't take long to get into business if you're halfway bright. And I teach them the philosophy, the difference between communism and capitalism. All teenagers ought to appreciate the difference between communism and capitalism. For the last 75 years, communism taught capital belongs in the hands of the state, not in the hands of the people. For all these years, we've taught what? Ridiculous. Capital belongs in the hands of the people, not in the hands of the state. Communism taught, no. Individual people are too dumb and stupid to know what to do with capital. So you've got to take capital away from all the dumb, stupid people and give it to the all-wise, all-knowing state. And let the state run everything, and let the dumb, stupid people show up for their work assignment. That was communism. No wonder they devastated everything they touched. But finally the walls came tumbling down. Communism taught, all glory to the state, the individual doesn't matter. We've taught all these years what? It's the individual that matters. Let the state be the servant of the individuals, not the individuals the servant of the state. What a difference in what? Philosophy. The power that's made America great, what it is today, is money in the hands of the kids, the people. That's where it is. So, all glory to the people. Let the state be the servant. In fact, we delight in calling them what? Public servants. Kids are so excited when they finally discover how many servants they got. Somebody to what? Stay awake while you sleep. So what? So you can sleep well. The Army doesn't sleep while you sleep. The Navy doesn't sleep. The Air Force doesn't sleep. How come they stay awake all night? So you can sleep all night. So you got to pay 7 pennies. Philosophy. Simple, basic, easy philosophy. And I'm telling you, it's easy stuff. Can't get any easier than that. A few simple things practiced every day. You can change your health and change your life. Okay? Easy. What should a child do with $1? I mean, it's fairly easy to figure out. If you just stop and think about it for a while, what should a child do with $1? I teach that. Part of it's on my new video I've got. In fact, part of my new video is for teenagers. What should a child do with $1? You won't believe the difference in philosophy. Here's one philosophy. It's only a child and it's only $1. What difference does it make? Wow, what a philosophy. It's only a child and it's only $1. Where do you suppose everything starts for the future? Here's where it starts. A child with $1. You say, well, they're only a child once, let them spend it all. Well, when would you hope that would stop? You say, well, wait till they're 50 and broke like me and then they'll change. No. Do you want them to wind up like you? And the answer is no. So we got to teach them a better philosophy. If the child wants to spend the whole $1, with everything you've got to persuade him not to spend it all. Kid says, what, I earned it all, it's my $1, I'm going to spend it all. Say, no, don't spend it all. They'll say, what? Why not? So, best way is to show them why not. Kids learn best by visual. Put them in your car, take them to the other side of town, and show them where people live that spend the whole $1. I'm telling you, they'll get the message. Just drive them around and say, would you like to live here? Kid says, no. Would you like to live like these people live? Kid says, no way. Then you can't spend the whole $1. I'm telling you, they'll get the message. So, take them to the other side of town. Unless you already live there, and then just show them around. This stuff's easy. Hey, it's too easy to figure out why people go broke, and it's too easy to figure out how people get rich. It's too easy. You don't need spooky voodoo. Just need truth. Just need the facts. By the way, I do believe in affirmation. I must correct that. I do believe in affirmation. Here's how. Only if you affirm the truth. Ancient phrase says what? The truth will set you free. Free to correct your old errors in philosophy, set up some new disciplines to change your life. That's what the truth is for. So I do believe in affirming the truth, of course. If you're broke, best thing to affirm is, I am broke. You put that up on the refrigerator where you can see it every day, where your kids can see it. Now, if you need reaffirmation, you just add this. I'm 40 and broke. I mean, that'll do it. If you need one more, here it is. I live in America and I'm 40 and broke. That'll be enough to change your life. All we need is some truth that says what? You've messed up. That's what my teacher said after 6 years. Mr. Rohn, let's go over a few things. Found out what? I'd messed up. He said, but I'm not going to leave you there. Let me show you how to change the next 6 years totally from the last 6, if you're interested. Some people aren't interested. They don't want to work this hard. They specialize in happy hour. Not interested in this stuff. But if you are interested, there's some ways to change it all. Just a few simple things if you do not neglect. Do not neglect. For your good health, there isn't 1,000 things. My father will be 90 his next birthday. He's been healthy all of his life. Mama taught us well. I passed the big 5-0. A few years back, I've never been ill. Mama taught us well. I got 2 daughters, 32 and 33, they've never been ill. 2 grandkids, all healthy. Mama taught us well. A few simple things practiced every day. I was with my father not long ago. We're getting ready about midnight to go to bed up on the farm. My father at midnight has what he calls, before he goes to bed, he has what he calls his midnight snack. A little bite to eat before you go to bed so you don't have to go to bed hungry. He likes that. And I'm watching my father eat this midnight snack. Guess what he's having? An apple and a few graham crackers and a glass, I think, of grapefruit juice. I said, no wonder Papa's healthy. Mama taught us all that. An apple, what? Right? That's gotten to Southern California, right? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. I've got a good question for this intelligent audience. Here it is. What if that's true? You say, well, Mr. Rohn, if that's true, that would be easy to do. Then what is the problem? The problem is what? It's easy not to do. Or the guy messed up the saying. Guy says, a Hershey bar a day. Say, no, you've been watching too much television. It's not Hershey bar. And if you lack refinement in your philosophy and intelligence to fall for the Hershey bar and substitute it for an apple, I'm telling you, you've got to be satisfied with your own poor health. Cardiovascular disaster, 6 years from now. I'm telling you, it's not outside. Outside is the wind that blows. Inside is your ability to set a sail if you're interested. Set such a sail that pretty soon you could care less about any wind that blows, because you've got it figured out and you're on the road for ideas and information that'll change and refine your philosophy and give you the best chance to do well. That's it. The first piece of the 5 major pieces. And this stuff is easy. I'm telling you, it's easy. Okay. I got one more down here now. Here's number 3. Number 1, observe what's happening. Number 2, listen. Find voices of value and spend some time. Here's number 3. Read all the books. I got no substitute for reading all the books. Mr. Shoaff got me started on this discipline back when I was 25 years old. Started me on my library for success. I've now got one of the better libraries. If you were to walk in my library today, here's what you would say. This is the library of a serious student. That's what you would say. Now, when people walk in your library from now on, here's what I want them to be able to say. This is the library of a serious student. Shoaff taught me to keep journals. Here's what he said. Good phrase to take home. Don't trust your memory. Bonnie talked about that this morning. Don't trust your memory. Jot it all down. I'm trying to get kids hooked like me. Be a buyer of empty books. Kids find it interesting. I buy an empty book with nothing in it. Especially at my station in life. What did I pay for this one? $26. Kids find that really interesting. I'd pay $26 for an empty book. Kids say, why would you do that? And I said, to prompt me to go searching and looking till I find something worth $26 to put in here. Now, all of my journals are private. But if you happen to get a hold of one of my journals, you would not look very far and read this stuff until you would say, hey, this is worth a lot more than $26. No wonder Mr. Rohn's healthy. Look at his journals. No wonder he gets to travel around the world. Look at his library. No wonder she's a strong mother. Look at her journals. No wonder she's got the answers for her family. Look at her library. No wonder she's got it together. No wonder he's powerful. No wonder he's rich. Look at his journals. Look at his library. This is where it all starts. I'm asking you to do that. You got to read the books. You got to have a library. Now, I haven't read everything in my library, but I feel smarter just walking in it. At least I was smart enough to buy it all. Now I got to be smart enough, right, to follow through. Make sure I get it read, studied, practice, sort through it, make my own decisions on what's valuable, and go do it so that my enterprises for the future will take on more value, more structure, more equities. My health, my life, my future, my relationship with my family, all the rest will improve and change. I'm asking you, here's a key phrase. Be a serious student. Develop your library. Shoaff got me started. He said, have you got a Bible? I said, well, yes. He said, well, that's 66 books. I felt better about that. My parents made sure I was a pretty good scholar by the time I was 18. 66 books. Here's a couple of books Shoaff recommended. One was called Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon wrote a classic. Think and Grow Rich. Shoaff said, doesn't that title intrigue you, Mr. Rohn? I said, yes, sir. He said, wouldn't you have to get that book, Think and Grow Rich? I said, yes, sir. So I started looking for it. I found it in a used bookstore. It's where I had to start. I paid less than 50 cents for it. I've still got it. It's one of the rare hardback covers. Started me on the road to recovery. Some of the ideas in that book changed my life. Now, it's got some weird stuff in it. You know, Napoleon was part weird. So you got to separate out some of the weird stuff. Okay? Unless you're weird, just do the weird stuff. Doesn't matter. Here's another book I use as a textbook to teach teenagers how to be rich by 40, 35 if you're extra bright. Part of it's going to be in my new book. A little book called The Richest Man in Babylon. The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. Clason. This little book helped me become a millionaire by the time I was 31. That's why I teach it to kids. As a textbook. Let me give you some key points about this little book. Richest Man in Babylon. Here they are for your notes. Number one, it's easy to find. I'm telling you, it's easy to find. The average bookstore's got it. If they haven't got it, guess what? They can get it for you. This little book is easy to find. Here's number two. It's easy to buy. This little book is easy to find. Here's number two. It's easy to buy. I'm telling you, this stuff's easy. You don't need ocean waves and seagulls. This stuff's too easy. The most you can pay for this little book is about $5, $6, $7. Okay? You can borrow that from your kids. $5, $6, $7. And number three, you've already guessed what? It's easy to read. It's in story form. That's why I use it for teenagers, teaching wealth by 40, 35 if you're extra bright, much sooner if you find a unique opportunity. You can read it in 2 or 3 evenings. If you get inspired, you could read it in one evening. Lord, I hope some out of this audience would get inspired, read it in one evening, because I want to listen to the future stories. But here's number 4, and this will explain all I've been trying to talk to you about up until now. Here's point number 4. It's easy not to look for this little book. Make sure you jot that down. That's this whole part of this first part of the seminar. It's easy not to look for this little book. Doesn't that explain everything? Yes. I've now lectured, and I think I've recommended this little book to all of them, over 3 million people in the last 33 years, formally, by satellite and by every other means. And I've recommended this little book. Guess how many have actually gone and found it? Answer, very few. Here's my best guess, about 10%. You say, well, Mr. Rohn, why wouldn't the other 90% go find this little book? Answer, we don't know.